Have you ever stopped to think about who will truly be by your side when the inevitable storms of life begin to rage? As we age, we often witness the gradual fading of relationships that once seemed rock solid. People we once leaned on may not always be there, and the truth becomes clearer with time. The one person you can always rely on is yourself. But how can we adequately prepare for a future where aging, loss, and the need for independence become central themes? In this video, we will explore why self-reliance is not just a useful trait but the key to living a fulfilled and peaceful life as you grow older. We'll delve into the importance of fostering a strong, loving relationship with yourself and the role that self-respect plays in ensuring a happy, independent future. Additionally, we'll discuss how to view your life partner as your ultimate support, walking through the ups and downs of life together, and why, while your children are a blessing, they should not be the sole emotional foundation on which you build your life. Stick with us until the end, as we share real-life stories, life-changing insights, and wisdom about how to navigate your later years with strength, joy, and confidence. Whether you're in your 50s, 60s, or beyond, this video will offer valuable lessons to help you thrive as you age and take control of your happiness. These transformative truths will help shift your perspective on aging, relationships, and personal fulfillment. If you haven't already, I encourage you to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss a video. Your support is deeply appreciated, and if you find this content valuable, please consider liking and sharing it with others. Let's spread these life-changing lessons together. If you're excited about the topic of this video, please comment 1 below. If there's something I can do better, or if you'd like to see improvements, please comment 0. Your feedback is invaluable to me as I strive to create the best content for you. Now, let's dive in. As we journey through life, it becomes more and more evident that we must become our most steadfast source of support. When we're younger, we often find ourselves surrounded by an abundance of friends, family, and acquaintances. It's as though we are under a vast sky, thick with clouds of connections and relationships that feel endless. We believe that we will always have someone there for us, that the warmth of others will shelter us from life's storms. But as the years pass, we slowly come to terms with a hard truth. Those clouds of connections begin to thin, and the reality of our solitude starts to settle in. Suddenly, the people who once seemed like a permanent fixture in our lives begin to fade, and we are left standing alone, wondering, who will truly be by my side when the storms of life strike? It's a deeply unsettling thought, one that many of us would rather avoid. There's an old saying that rings so true: if you rely on a mountain, the mountain will collapse. If you rely on a person, that person will eventually leave. It's sobering, but in many ways, it's a truth we must come to understand. When we enter our 60s or 70s, many of us dream of the tranquility that comes with retirement. We imagine ourselves surrounded by the love of family and the comfort of friendships, filling our days with laughter, companionship, and the warmth of shared memories. It feels like the perfect life, the one we've earned after a lifetime of hard work. But often, the reality falls far short of this vision. In the unpredictable storm that is life, the only umbrella that will truly protect you is the one you hold in your own hands. And as much as it stings to admit, it's only when we embrace this truth that we can truly find peace. Let me share a story that encapsulates this lesson. There was a man named Mark, a man much like any of us, searching for answers in the face of life's overwhelming challenges. One day, Mark entered his local church, hoping to find solace, to be comforted. He knelt before the altar, fervently praying to God for guidance, asking for strength to endure the hardships he was facing. But as he prayed, his eyes were drawn to something unexpected. A statue of the Virgin Mary, usually a symbol of hope and compassion, was positioned in such a way that it seemed as though she, too, was praying. Her gaze was directed inward, as if in deep contemplation. Confused, Mark asked the priest, "Why is the Virgin Mary praying to herself?" The priest smiled gently and answered, "Even Mary faces struggles, but she understands that the greatest strength comes from trusting in herself and her own. Relying on others is important, but in the end, It's your inner strength that will carry you through life's toughest moments." Mark was taken aback. The simplicity and profundity of the priest's words struck him deeply. This story, though brief, became a profound reminder for him, and for all of us, that while life's trials are universal, it is the strength we cultivate within ourselves that ultimately sees us through. Life's challenges, be they health issues, the loss of loved ones, or other personal struggles, are inevitable. No one is exempt from them. We will all face our storms. And yet, if we continuously rely on others to solve our problems or to be the ones who always support us when we're at our lowest, we run the risk of losing touch with our power and our resilience. This cycle of dependence, though comforting at first, ultimately weakens us and leaves us vulnerable. For many elderly individuals, particularly those in their 80s and 90s, there is a deep desire to lean on their children for support. It's natural to imagine that, in our later years, our children will be there for us, offering care and companionship. We imagine ourselves in peaceful retirement, with our children ensuring that we are never lonely or vulnerable. But the painful truth is that when you surrender your independence, when you give up the ability to care for yourself, you are, in essence, locking yourself in a prison of dependence. And in this prison, you can't help but feel the sting of disappointment when those closest to you, no matter how loving they are, fail to meet your needs in ways you desperately crave. Even the most devoted children or family members cannot fully understand the depth of your struggles, the complexity of your emotions, or the subtle intricacies of your unique life experience. At the end of the day, the one person you can always rely on is yourself. Your strength, your courage, and your ability to navigate the toughest storms life throws your way. These will be your greatest source of support. Yes, it's important to lean on others when needed. And yes, relationships are precious. But without a foundation of self-reliance, without a belief in your strength, you may find yourself adrift, unable to weather the storms of life. When I reflect on my journey, I am struck by the beauty of this truth. The most important person in my life is myself. And when I stop to think about it, isn't it a remarkable gift to realize that I am the one who can shape my own life, who can choose to stand strong in the face of adversity? There's nothing more empowering than becoming your source of strength, your pillar of support. No matter how many times life knocks me down, no matter the obstacles in my path, it is only me who has the power to rise again, to keep moving forward with determination and grace. This realization fills me with gratitude, for it reminds me that the greatest gift I can give myself is the courage to trust in my abilities and to believe in my resilience. In the end, the most beautiful and empowering thing I can do is stand firm, knowing that I am capable of weathering any storm that may come my way. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 1 below to let me know that you are still here with me. It's so easy to look at the lives of others and feel a pang of envy, isn't it? You see their success, their joy, the fulfillment they seem to have in their lives, and you can't help but wonder, why not me? Why haven't I achieved that kind of happiness or success? But let me tell you this, and I say it with all my heart. Your journey is yours alone, and no one else can walk it for you. You have your unique path to follow, and it's a path that only you can take. Whatever it is you desire in life, whether it's success, happiness, peace, or fulfillment, it's within your grasp. The power to create your future is entirely in your hands. Don't wait for someone else to come along and make things happen for you. Don't wait for family or friends to rescue you when you're struggling. The truth is, no one can walk your journey except you, and the sooner you accept that, the more freedom you'll feel. Yes, life will undoubtedly throw challenges your way. Some days will feel heavy, and others will feel almost unbearable. But you must keep going. Keep pushing forward. Because, and I truly believe this, the very places where you've been hurt, those scars, are the places where you can grow the strongest. Life is not meant to be smooth or easy, and the sooner we realize that, the sooner we find peace within the storm. Not everyone has an umbrella when the rain pours, and yet, we have to learn how to run faster to avoid it. Life is like that. It's not about waiting for the storm to pass. It's about learning to navigate the rain with a smile, knowing that the seeds you plant today will grow into the harvest of tomorrow. I know it's hard, but do. Sometimes, we can't help but look at others and wish we could trade places, hoping for a little more happiness, a little more success, and a little more peace. But I promise you, the happiness you seek will never be handed to you on a silver platter. It's something that you create. And it's not something that comes from external validation or approval. It comes from the love you give yourself, from the dedication and hard work you put into building the life that reflects your deepest desires. What you achieve with your own two hands is the most valuable thing you'll ever have. Please, don't waste another moment envying others. You are your masterpiece, and the way you choose to live your life, with all its ups and downs, is a perspective that no one else can replicate. Your life is beautiful, simply because it's yours. At the end of the day, after the dust has settled and you've navigated through all the challenges and changes, you'll realize something. The most important person who has been there for you all along, the one who truly supports you, is you. It's so easy to think that others, whether they're family, friends, or a spouse, should be the ones to make us happy. But the truth is, no one can do that for you. You have to learn how to live for yourself, to love yourself. This is the ultimate lesson in life, to build a life that nourishes you, that fills your soul with peace and joy. Once you realize that your happiness comes from within, there's a deep sense of freedom that comes with it. You'll walk through life with the kind of confidence that only comes from self-love and understanding. Life, of course, is full of relationships. Family, friends, partners. But when the dust settles and everything fades, you'll realize that the one person who will stand by you until the very end is the person you share your life with, your spouse. After the age of 60, it's likely that the one person you'll spend the most time with, the one who will walk beside you through the final years, isn't your parents or your children, but the one person who has loved you through it all. Your parents will eventually pass, and your children will grow up and build their own lives, and you'll find that the person you lean on most will be the one who has walked beside you all these years, through every high and low. Love is an evolving force, just like life. When we're young, love is exciting, passionate, and filled with the fire of discovery. But as we grow older, love transforms. It's no longer about the wild rush of emotions or the quick words spoken in the heat of the moment. Instead, love becomes something deeper. It becomes compassion, mutual gratitude, a quiet strength built through years of shared moments, shared joys, and shared sorrows. I'm reminded of an elderly couple in our neighborhood, George and Helen, who have spent their entire lives together. They're an inspiration to everyone around them, not because they had it easy, but because their love for each other has weathered the toughest storms. They were young when they married, and for decades they built a beautiful life together, raising children and supporting one another. But a few years ago, Helen was diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease. It was a devastating blow, one that robbed her of so many memories. But what George did in those years, to me, is the very definition of love. Despite everything, he never once thought of leaving her. He didn't look for help from anyone else. Instead, he embraced her with the kind of love that most of us only dream about. He even taught himself to play the keyboard, so he could play soothing music for her, to calm her mind. Every morning, he would sit by her side, guiding her hands on the keys, the music a reminder of the love they had built together. That image of George and Helen isn't just about love, it's about a sacred commitment, a promise to never let go, no matter how hard the journey gets. Their love is a testament to the kind of strength and devotion that can only come from years of shared life, challenges, and growth. It's a love that can weather any storm. There's a profound saying that always resonates with me. Young couples visit each other, but elderly couples live for gratitude. This simple, yet deeply meaningful statement beautifully encapsulates the nature of love as it matures over time. In the early stages of life, love is often portrayed as thrilling and passionate, filled with excitement and intensity. It's easy to fall in love when you're young, but it takes something much deeper to sustain and strengthen that love as the years pass. What this saying conveys is the transformative power of time, how love shifts from the fiery infatuation of youth to a quieter, more profound connection, one built on decades of shared experiences, mutual care, and unspoken understanding. It's a love that isn't defined by moments of passion, but by the steadiness and reliability of companionship. As we age, we inevitably begin to face the harsh reality of physical decline. Our health begins to deteriorate, and we start to feel the effects of time on our bodies. The energy we once had begins to fade, and our lives become more challenging in ways we couldn't have imagined in our younger years. This is when the true value of a life partner becomes so abundantly clear. A life partner is no longer just someone to share your bed with or your home. They are your greatest source of comfort, warmth, and reassurance. In a world that can sometimes feel overwhelming, especially as we grow older, they are the one constant. Their presence is a source of peace, a reminder that, no matter how many challenges we face, we do not have to navigate them alone. The importance of a partner in old age cannot be overstated. There's something uniquely beautiful about having someone who understands you deeply, someone who has shared countless memories with you, someone who can sit quietly by your side without the need for words. That silent understanding between two people who have walked through life together speaks volumes. It's a kind of love that doesn't need to be constantly verbalized because it has been cultivated and nourished over decades. It's the knowledge that, no matter the difficulties, you'll face them together, side by side. I remember reading a story that deeply moved me, a story about John and Eleanor, a couple who have been married for an extraordinary 87 years. Now in their 100s, they are living proof that love, when nurtured over time, grows stronger and more resilient. In a photograph of them together, they are sitting side by side, their faces etched with the lines of a long life, a life that has been both joyful and challenging. But their smiles, those warm, radiant smiles, tell a different story. They reveal a happiness that only comes from a lifetime of love and shared memories. Their faces glow with inner peace and contentment that can only be achieved through years of supporting each other through thick and thin. Their clothes may be simple, but the love they share, the life they've built together, is anything but ordinary. John, now 109 years old, and Eleanor, 106, still live in Los Angeles, surrounded by memories of nearly 9 decades of companionship. Their story is a testament to the enduring power of love. When a reporter once asked them how they managed to sustain their love for so many decades, John's response was so simple, yet so profound. With a gentle smile, he said, "The most important thing I want is to make her smile every day. When she's with me, all I want to hear is her laugh." And Eleanor, with the same quiet wisdom, added, "The most important thing I want is for him to eat well, stay healthy, and be happy." Those words, simple as they are, carry so much weight. They're not just about the daily gestures, the small acts of care, or the things we do to make our loved ones happy. They reflect a lifetime of devotion and love that has grown, changed, and evolved over the years. Even today, despite their advanced age, Eleanor still goes to the market every day, picking out fresh fruits and vegetables, preparing meals with her own hands, and ensuring that John remains healthy and nourished. These small, seemingly insignificant acts are so much more than just routine. They are the foundation of a deep, unbreakable bond, a bond that has stood the test of time. The love between John and Eleanor is a reminder that marriage, at its core, is not just the beginning of a romantic journey, but the beginning of a deep, enduring partnership built on trust, respect, and care. Life partners become more than just people we share our lives with. They become the pillars that hold us up during the most difficult moments. They are the steadying force that keeps us grounded when everything else seems to be slipping away. As we grow older, we realize that love is no longer about grand gestures or constant romantic declarations. It's not about the fireworks or the dramatic moments we often fantasize about in our youth. True love in old age is quieter, more subtle, and infinitely more meaningful. It's about the small, everyday acts of kindness, the way you hold hands in silence, the way you comfort each other without words, the way you know each other so well that even a glance can speak volumes. It's the shared understanding that, no matter what happens, you are not alone. It's about the feeling of knowing, deep in your soul, that your love is unconditional, unwavering, and will never fade, even as time moves on and the world around you changes. True love in old age is about finding comfort in each other's presence, in the knowledge that you've walked this long road together and have weathered all the storms life has thrown your way. It's about finding peace in the quiet moments, in the daily routines that bind you together. This is the kind of love I long for. Love that grows deeper with time, that strengthens with every challenge, and that continues to bloom even in the later years of life. It's the kind of love that makes you feel truly seen and understood, the kind of love that doesn't need to be constantly verbalized because it's already deeply embedded in the actions, the gestures, and the moments you share. It's a love that transcends time and space, a love that endures beyond physical appearances and the inevitable changes that come with age. It's a love that, in the end, becomes the greatest comfort, the greatest blessing of all. As we move through life, it's easy to get caught up in the hustle and bustle, to chase after fleeting things that don't matter. But when you find someone who truly understands you, someone who has seen you at your best and your worst, someone who knows your heart even without you saying a word, you realize that this deep, enduring love is all that truly matters. Because when you have someone who will always make you smile, who will laugh with you, care for you, and stand by you no matter what, you've found something priceless. That is the love we should all strive for, the kind of love that only grows stronger as the years go by. Life is an unpredictable journey, full of twists and turns that we can never fully anticipate. It's a path of constant changes, ups and downs, moments of joy and sorrow, challenges and triumphs. Yet, amidst the chaos, the most important treasure we can hold on to is the connection with others. To have someone who walks beside us, through the hardest times and the most beautiful moments, is a gift that cannot be measured. That companion, that life partner, is the one who will be there when the road is rough, holding our hand tightly, and reminding us that we are not alone in this vast world. As we grow older, we begin to realize just how important these relationships are. It is in the later years of our lives that we truly come to appreciate the depth and beauty of companionship. A life partner becomes not just someone to share our days with, but someone who will walk with us to the very end, hand in hand, through each of life's final chapters. Together, you become a team, a pair navigating the winding road of aging, knowing that your journey will be more meaningful because you're not facing it alone. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 2 below to let me know that you are still here with me. But there is another profound gift that life gives us, a gift that has the power to shape our hearts and souls in ways we never imagined: our children. From the moment we bring them into this world, they become more than just part of our family. They become our greatest joy, our reason to smile, our reason to keep going even on the darkest days. Watching them grow, learn, and discover who they are fills our hearts with a love that is so deep and all-encompassing that it feels like it has no limits. Children, while at times demanding, difficult, and testing our patience, always bring with them irreplaceable joy. Their laughter, their curiosity, and their sheer presence light up even the most mundane of days. Children are like little suns, bright and warm, casting light on everything they touch. As parents, we are the fortunate ones, blessed by the love they give and the love we receive in return. But as we grow older, we begin to see things from a different perspective. We start to understand that while our children are a wonderful source of happiness and fulfillment, they are not meant to be the sole caretakers of our hearts and minds as we age. It's an old saying that children have their blessings, and as much as we cherish their presence, we must also accept that they are on their journey, a journey that is separate from ours. Yes, we love them deeply and are grateful for the joy they bring, but it's crucial to remember that they do not exist to carry the full weight of our emotional and physical well-being. While it's natural to want to lean on our children, especially as we get older, we must also remember that they are not meant to be our emotional crutches. Their lives are their own, filled with their dreams, their challenges, and their blessings to discover. It is not fair to place all our hopes, all our expectations, on them. In truth, many parents have the dream of raising children who will care for them in their later years, but as hard as it may be to admit, The one person who can truly provide us with the most reliable support as we age is ourselves. We cannot and should not expect our children to carry the full burden of our happiness, nor should we place upon them the responsibility of making sure we are fulfilled. Yes, we have raised them, nurtured them, and loved them with everything we have, and they are forever a part of us, but we must also take responsibility for our happiness, health, and well-being. We must stand strong on our own, understanding that it is ultimately ourselves who are responsible for living a fulfilling life. By doing so, we give our children the freedom to live their own lives without the weight of our expectations hanging over them, allowing them to thrive without being encumbered by the emotional demands we place on them. A wise British psychologist, Sylvia, once shared a beautiful and insightful thought that resonates deeply with anyone who has raised children. All love in this world is aimed at connection, but the only love that is truly unconditional is the love parents have for their children. Parental love is a force unlike any other. It's boundless, without conditions, and it doesn't ask for anything in return. It's selfless and unwavering, with only one goal: the happiness and well-being of the child. This love is pure, a love that gives and gives without ever expecting anything back. It's the love that guides us through sleepless nights, the love that pushes us to sacrifice everything for our future. However, there is an irony in this type of love. While we pour our hearts and souls into raising our children, and teaching them to be independent, strong, and capable, we often find ourselves becoming more and more dependent on them as we grow older. Parents invest countless hours, days, and years nurturing their children, helping them grow, and supporting them as they chase their dreams. We do everything we can to ensure that they are equipped to face the world on their own, giving them the tools to build their futures. But as time passes, we begin to notice something subtle. Our children no longer need our guidance as much. Their lives, their responsibilities, and their desires start to move them away from us. And slowly, almost imperceptibly, it is we who find ourselves relying on them for emotional support, comfort, for a sense of purpose. This type of love, while deeply noble, can have unintended consequences if it becomes unbalanced. If parents continue to rely solely on their children for emotional fulfillment, the relationship can start to feel more like an emotional burden than a mutual exchange of love. When children begin to build their own families, start their careers, and embark on their adventures, parents who have placed all their emotional weight on their children can feel a profound emptiness. As our children grow older, their need for us decreases, but our need for them remains strong. This disconnect can lead to a sense of loss. When our children are happy, we rejoice, but when they are sad, we carry their sadness as our own. And when they move away, starting lives of their own, parents who have poured everything into their children may feel as though they've lost their purpose. The joy and excitement of life begin to fade, replaced by a sense of loneliness and sorrow. What once felt like a life full of meaning can quickly become an existence filled with emptiness, and the very thing that was supposed to bring joy, our connection with our children, can become the cause of our greatest sadness. The harsh truth is that if parents continue to tie their entire sense of identity and purpose to their children, they risk losing themselves in the process. As the children step into their worlds, parents who have come to rely so heavily on them can feel left behind, adrift in a sea of uncertainty. And it's not just the parents who suffer. The children, too, may feel overwhelmed by the weight of their parents' expectations. In trying to care for their parents, they might lose sight of their dreams and needs, creating a cycle of emotional dependence that does no one any favors. This cycle, while born of love, can be damaging, leading to feelings of resentment, guilt, and frustration on both sides. It's a painful realization, but it's one that we must face if we want to live the rest of our lives in peace and happiness. We must learn to let go of our need for our children's emotional support, and instead, focus on finding fulfillment in ourselves, within our hearts. Only then can we create a healthy, loving relationship with our children, one that allows them the freedom to live their lives without the emotional weight of our dependence. Life is about balance, about finding joy in our own company, about nurturing our strength, and about loving deeply without smothering. We must remember that while our children are a part of us, we are not defined by them. As we age, it is our responsibility to continue to cultivate our happiness, cherish the simple pleasures of life, and find joy in the quiet moments that fill our days. In the end, life is about learning to walk the path with grace and independence, loving others deeply without expecting anything in return, and finding peace within ourselves. Our children, our partners, and our loved ones are our greatest blessings, but the greatest gift we can give them is the freedom to live their own lives, knowing that we are fully capable of living our own. As we journey through life, one of the most important lessons we can learn, especially as we age, is the incredible power of self-reliance and self-care. It can be incredibly tempting to depend on others, particularly our children, for the emotional support that we so deeply crave, but it's crucial to understand that our happiness should not be solely reliant on them. While children are a profound source of joy, comfort, and love, they should never become the foundation upon which we build our lives. As parents, it's vital to recognize that we must continue living for ourselves, even in our later years. This is not only about self-preservation but about reclaiming our sense of purpose and fulfillment. The more we nurture our independence and ability to enjoy our own company, the more enriching our relationships with our children can be. When we do this, every reunion with them becomes a time of joy, not of longing or empty expectations. We no longer look to them to fill a void within us, but instead come together as two separate, fulfilled individuals, sharing love, experiences, and memories. There is something deeply freeing about learning to let go of the intense attachment to our children. It's not an easy thing to do, but it is a crucial part of allowing them to flourish and become the people they are meant to be. The love we have for them was never meant to be a burden, nor was it meant to keep them tethered to us. Children's love is not about holding on tightly, but about nurturing and protecting them while gradually preparing them for independence. Letting go is not a rejection of them or their love, but an affirmation that they have grown into individuals capable of living their own lives and forging their happiness. We, as parents, must learn to gracefully release them, not with sadness, but with the understanding that this is how they thrive. As they step into their futures, we must continue to live fully in ours, without relying on them for emotional sustenance. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 3 below to let me know that you are still here with me. It's an act of love to allow both ourselves and our children to flourish apart from each other. When we let go, it allows space for both parties to breathe easier, to embrace their paths without the heavy weight of expectations. This release is an essential part of living with joy and peace. It's a quiet liberation that comes with acknowledging that our children are not responsible for our happiness, just as we are not responsible for theirs. This realization brings a profound sense of freedom. Our role as parents evolves, and that's okay. The moments of togetherness become more meaningful when we no longer expect them to carry the burden of our emotional needs. Instead, we can cherish them for who they are, not what we need them to be. Living a peaceful and meaningful old age requires a deep understanding of the sources of support that we need to thrive. As we navigate the later years of life, we must rely on 3 main pillars: ourselves, our partners, and the love of family. These are the lifelines that will help us maintain a sense of connection, stability, and joy. But crucially, these sources of support should never become our entire world. If we place all our emotional weight on any one person or group, we risk losing the essence of who we are and what we need to be content. Old age should never be viewed as a conclusion to life, but rather as the start of a new chapter, rich with possibilities. It is a time to deepen our self-awareness, continue exploring the world, and focus on the things that bring us genuine happiness. The key to finding joy in later life is to prioritize self-care and self-love. By taking the time to nourish our bodies, minds, and spirits, we can create a fulfilling life that is not solely dependent on others. For many, this phase of life can be filled with new opportunities to rediscover old passions or explore new ones. It's a time to embrace solitude, not as a punishment or a sign of loneliness, but as a space for reflection, growth, and peace. It's also a time to foster meaningful relationships and to connect deeply with our partners, our friends, and our family. But even within these relationships, it's important to remember that true happiness and fulfillment come from within. It is up to us to define what brings us joy and to actively seek out those experiences, whether that means diving into new hobbies, taking more time for rest, or simply enjoying the beauty of the world around us. This freedom, this capacity to live for ourselves, is essential to experiencing life to its fullest. Our happiness, our peace, and our contentment must be something we cultivate within ourselves. It is only when we take full responsibility for our emotional well-being and live authentically that we can truly experience the richness of this stage of life. When we let go of the need to hold on to the past and embrace the present with all its possibilities, we open ourselves to a future full of gratitude, exploration, and fulfillment. Happiness is not something we can simply receive from others. It is something we create, day by day, through the choices we make and the love we give ourselves. Living freely, loving ourselves fully, and embracing the later years of life with all the wisdom we've gathered allows us to step into old age not with fear or regret, but with peace, excitement, and the knowledge that we are the authors of our own story. In the end, old age is not an end, but a beautiful continuation, a continuation we can approach with open arms and a heart full of gratitude. As we wrap up today's video, I hope you found something valuable in these reflections on aging, independence, and the profound joy that comes with embracing self-reliance and meaningful connections. It's easy to forget that, as we age, we still have so much to give to ourselves and the world around us. But by understanding the importance of living for ourselves, letting go of the need for others to fulfill us, and nurturing our happiness, we can transform this stage of life into one filled with freedom, peace, and joy. Now, I'd love to hear from you. What is one thing you've learned today that resonates with you and something you're planning to bring into practice in your own life? Please share your thoughts and reflections in the comments below. Your insights and stories are valuable, and we can all learn from each other as we navigate this journey of life. If you like this video, please leave your comment below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more inspiring content. Your support helps us continue creating videos that promote health, happiness, and wisdom in the later years of life. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.